Our story begins on the swampy world of Dagobah, where the air hangs heavy with mist and the echoes of a fallen order. Yoda, once the wise Grand Master of the Jedi, kneels alone in the gnarled roots of an ancient tree, his small frame trembling not from age, but from rage. The Jedi Temple burns in his memory, its halls littered with the bodies of younglings, its light extinguished by the betrayal of Anakin Skywalker and the cunning of Darth Sidious. For weeks, Yoda has hidden here, wrestling with the Force, but the dark side whispers louder now, promising power to undo the galaxy's wrongs. His green eyes, once bright with hope, flicker with a dangerous yellow glow. The master who trained generations of Jedi stands at the edge of an abyss, ready to plunge into darkness. The galaxy beyond Dagobah churns in chaos. The newly formed galactic empire tightens its grip, with Darth Vader's iron fist crushing rebellion before it can spark. On Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine weaves his web, unaware that his former foe, Yoda, no longer seeks to restore the light, but to claim the shadows for himself. The Force ripples with a disturbance unlike any before, as Yoda's heart hardens, his grief twisting into a hunger for vengeance. He will not rebuild the Jedi. He will tear down the Sith and rule in their place. Rising from the mud, Yoda ignites his lightsaber, its green blade casting an eerie glow through the fog. The Sith will fall, but at a cost the galaxy cannot yet fathom. Yoda's first steps into darkness lead him to the forgotten world of Malachor, a graveyard of ancient Sith temples where the dark side pulses like a heartbeat. The jagged spires loom over ashen plains, their stones etched with runes that hum with malevolent energy. Yoda moves through the ruins with purpose, his small form dwarfed by the towering statues of long-dead Sith lords. The Force guides him to a hidden chamber, where a holocron glows crimson, its surface warm to the touch. As Yoda's clawed hand closes around it, visions flood his mind. Battles of old, secrets of power, and the path to surpass, even Sidious. The holocron whispers of a ritual, one that could amplify his strength, but bind his soul to the dark side forever. Yoda hesitates, the weight of 900 years of wisdom clashing with his newfound fury. The faces of fallen Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn, Mace Windu, Aayla Secura, flash before him, urging him to turn back, but the pain of their loss drowns out their pleas. With a guttural growl, Yoda activates the ritual, and the chamber trembles as red lightning arcs from the holocron, searing his flesh and twisting his spirit. His eyes burn fully yellow now, and the Force bends around him, darker, heavier, unstoppable. Word of a disturbance on Malachor reaches the Empire, and Darth Vader is dispatched to investigate. The Sith apprentice strides through the ruins, his black armor gleaming under the pale light of Malachor's twin moons. His red lightsaber hums, cutting through the ashen fog as he senses a presence both familiar and alien. Vader's mechanical breathing echoes in the silence, his mind troubled by memories of the small master who once guided him. Deep within the temple, Yoda waits, his new power coursing through his veins. The confrontation is inevitable. As Vader enters the chamber, the air thickens with tension, the Force crackling like a storm about to break. Yoda leaps from the shadows, his green blade slashing with a ferocity Vader has never seen. The duel erupts in a blur of motion, Yoda's small form darting and spinning, his strikes fueled by centuries of mastery and a fresh well of rage. Vader counters with brute strength, his red blade crashing against Yoda's, sending sparks flying across the stone floor. The temple shakes, its ancient walls crumbling under the weight of their power. Yoda's voice, once calm and measured, now drips with venom as he taunts Vader, accusing him of betraying the Jedi and paving the way for their doom. Vader, unyielding, presses forward, but Yoda's new dark strength is overwhelming. With a surge of the Force, Yoda hurls Vader against a pillar, the stone cracking under the impact. The apprentice rises, battered but defiant, and the duel rages on, neither yielding, their blades a whirlwind of light and shadow. Far from Malachor, on the desert world of Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi watches the stars from a lonely cave, his heart heavy with the Jedi's fall. The Force stirs, carrying a chill that speaks of Yoda's transformation. Obi-Wan, now a hermit hiding from the Empire, feels the disturbance but cannot yet comprehend its source. He senses a darkness growing, one that threatens to eclipse even Sidious's reign. On Alderaan, Senator Bail Organa and his wife Breha protect the infant Leia, unaware that the galaxy's balance is shifting once more. The Force binds them all, Obi-Wan, Bail, Leia, and the young Luke Skywalker hidden on Tatooine, to Yoda's descent, their fates entwined with the choices he makes. Back on Malachor, Yoda's duel with Vader reaches a stalemate. The chamber is in ruins, its walls scorched and shattered. Yoda, realizing Vader is but a pawn, spares him, vanishing into the shadows with a warning. Sidious will fall, and Yoda will claim his throne. Vader, left kneeling in the dust, reports the encounter to his master, but Palpatine's laughter echoes through the holocom. The Emperor sees Yoda's fall as an opportunity, a chance to pit two dark powers against each other and solidify his rule. Yoda's next move takes him to Korriban, the ancient Sith homeworld, where the tombs of Dark Lords whisper secrets of domination. The red sands shift under his feet as he enters the Valley of the Dark Lords, his lightsaber casting a faint glow against the towering statues of Naga Sadow and Marka Ragnos. Here, Yoda seeks the knowledge to challenge Sidious, but the dark side demands a price. In a vision, Yoda sees himself ruling the galaxy, a crimson blade in hand, but the cost is the annihilation of all he once loved, the Jedi, the Republic, the light itself. The vision shakes him, but his resolve hardens. He will not falter. Deep within a tomb, Yoda uncovers an ancient Sith artifact, a crystal that amplifies the dark side's power. As he claims it, the spirits of ancient Sith rise, their spectral forms testing his worth. Yoda battles them, his green blade cutting through their ethereal forms, his new strength bending the Force to his will. The spirits fall, and the crystal pulses in his hand, its power now his. But the victory is hollow. Yoda feels the light within him fading, replaced by a cold, relentless hunger. The master who once taught balance now walks a path of destruction. On Coruscant, Palpatine senses Yoda's growing power and devises a plan to crush him. He dispatches Inquisitors to hunt for Yoda, led by the Grand Inquisitor, whose loyalty to the Empire is matched only by his fear of Vader. The Inquisitors track Yoda to Korriban, their black ships slicing through the stars. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, driven by the Force's warning, leaves Tatooine to find Yoda, hoping to save his former master. He travels to Kashyyyk, seeking the wisdom of the Wookiee elder Tarful, who speaks of a dark presence stirring in the galaxy. Tarful's words confirm Obi-Wan's fears, and he sets out for Korriban, unaware of the danger awaiting him. On Korriban, Yoda senses the Inquisitors approach and prepares an ambush. The red sands erupt in battle as Yoda faces the Inquisitors, his lightsaber a blur of green fire. The Grand Inquisitor leads the charge, his double-bladed saber spinning, but Yoda's dark power is too great. One by one, the Inquisitors fall, their screams swallowed by the desert wind. The Grand Inquisitor, wounded but defiant, escapes to warn Palpatine, but Yoda lets him go, knowing the fear will reach the Emperor. As the battle ends, Obi-Wan arrives, his blue lightsaber igniting in the twilight. The two masters face each other, their bond strained by Yoda's transformation. Obi-Wan pleads with Yoda to return to the light, but Yoda's yellow eyes burn with resolve. Their sabers clash, the Force trembling with their sorrow and fury. The duel is brief but devastating. Obi-Wan's skill no match for Yoda's new power. Yoda spares his former friend, leaving him wounded in the sand, a warning to those who would challenge him. The red sands of Korriban settle in the wake of Yoda's duel with Obi-Wan, the air heavy with the scent of scorched stone and betrayal. Yoda stands alone amidst the carnage, his small form silhouetted against the towering statues of ancient Sith lords. The crystal from the tomb pulses in his hand, its dark energy seeping into his veins, whispering promises of dominion. Obi-Wan lies unconscious in the dust, spared but broken, a testament to Yoda's fleeting mercy. The once wise master feels the weight of his choices, the light within him now a distant flicker, drowned by the roar of vengeance. Korriban's winds howl, urging him forward, and Yoda turns his gaze to the stars. Sidious awaits, and the galaxy will bend to the will of a new Sith Lord. Yoda's next destination is Mustafar, the volcanic world where rivers of lava carve glowing scars across blackened stone. The planet's fiery heart mirrors the rage within him, its molten fury a perfect crucible for his transformation. He seeks a hidden Sith forge, buried deep beneath the planet's crust, where ancient weapons were crafted to channel the dark side. The journey is perilous, the air choking with ash and heat, but Yoda moves with unnatural speed, his small form leaping across jagged cliffs and molten streams. The forge, when he finds it, is a cavern of obsidian, its walls etched with crimson runes that pulse in rhythm with the planet's core. At its center lies a crucible, glowing with liquid fire, and Yoda begins a ritual to reforge his lightsaber. The green blade, once a symbol of hope, is dismantled, its kyber crystal infused with the dark energy of the Sith artifact. The crystal screams in the Force, its light corrupted, and when Yoda ignites the new blade, its crimson glow bathes the cavern in blood-red light. The transformation is complete. Yoda, now Darth Yoda, embraces his new identity, his yellow eyes burning with purpose. The galaxy will know his wrath. On Coruscant, Palpatine sits in his throne room, the spires of the Imperial Palace piercing the smog-choked sky. The Grand Inquisitor's report of Yoda's actions on Korriban sparks a twisted smile across the Emperor's withered face. He sees Yoda's fall not as a threat but as a game, a chance to wield the dark side's chaos to his advantage. Palpatine summons Darth Vader, his apprentice still reeling from the defeat on Malachor. The Emperor's voice drips with menace as he orders Vader to prepare a trap for Yoda, one that will either destroy the fallen master or bind him to the Empire's will. Vader's mechanical breathing quickens, his loyalty to Sidious warring with the faint echoes of Anakin Skywalker, stirred by Yoda's taunts. Palpatine, sensing this conflict, tightens his grip, dispatching Vader to the Outer Rim to rally the Imperial fleet. The Emperor also activates a secret network of spies, led by the cunning Sly Moore, to track Yoda's movements. The galaxy is a chessboard, and Palpatine plays to win. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan awakens on Korriban, his body aching from Yoda's assault. The desert stretches endlessly around him, a desolate mirror of his shattered hope. The Force pulses with Yoda's darkness, a wound in the galaxy's heart. Obi-Wan staggers to his ship, his blue lightsaber still clutched in his hand, its light a faint reminder of the Jedi he once was. He cannot return to Tatooine, not while Yoda's shadow looms. Instead, he sets course for Alderaan, seeking Bail Organa, one of the few allies left who can resist the Empire. The journey is long, and Obi-Wan's mind churns with memories of Yoda's teachings, now twisted into something monstrous. On Alderaan, Bail and Breha Organa receive him in secret, their palace a beacon of quiet defiance amidst the Empire's tyranny. Bail's face hardens as Obi-Wan recounts Yoda's fall, the words cutting deeper than any blade. Breha, holding the infant Leia, vows to protect the child from the growing darkness. Bail reveals a fledgling resistance, a network of senators and soldiers, Mon Mothma, Garmbel Iblis, and even the exiled Jedi Ahsoka Tano, who are gathering to oppose Palpatine. Obi-Wan, though weary, agrees to join them, but his heart remains fixed on saving Yoda, a task that feels impossible. Yoda's presence on Mustafar does not go unnoticed. The Imperial spies, guided by Sly Moore, detect the disturbance and alert Vader. The Sith apprentice arrives with a fleet of Star Destroyers, their hulking forms casting shadows across the lava fields. Vader descends to the planet's surface, his black armor reflecting the molten glow, his red lightsaber ignited. The Forge's entrance is a gaping maw, and Vader enters, his senses attuned to the dark side's pull. Inside, Darth Yoda awaits, his crimson blade humming with malevolent energy. The duel that erupts is cataclysmic, the cavern trembling as their sabers clash, each strike sending molten sparks cascading from the walls. Yoda's small form dances around Vader, his speed and agility defying the apprentice's brute strength. The dark side fuels Yoda's movements, his attacks laced with lightning that crackles across Vader's armor, scorching circuits and drawing pained growls from the Sith. Vader counters with raw power, his blade carving through obsidian pillars, but Yoda's mastery of the Force is unmatched. With a gesture, Yoda summons a wave of lava from the crucible, forcing Vader to retreat. The apprentice's rage surges, but Yoda's cold precision overwhelms him. As the forge collapses, Yoda vanishes into the flames, leaving Vader battered and enraged, his failure burning hotter than Mustafar's rivers. On Alderaan, the resistance grows bolder. Ahsoka Tano, scarred by the Jedi's fall and her own battles with the Empire, arrives to meet Obi-Wan and Bail. Her white lightsabers, a symbol of her independence, gleam as she speaks of whispers in the Outer Rim, a dark power rising, unlike Sidious or Vader. Obi-Wan confirms her fears, revealing Yoda's transformation. Ahsoka's face tightens, her memories of Yoda's kindness clashing with this new reality. The Resistance plans a desperate mission to intercept Yoda before he can challenge Sidious, hoping to save him or stop him. Mon Mothma, ever the strategist, suggests luring Yoda to a neutral world, perhaps Dantooine, where the Resistance can confront him without Imperial interference. Obi-Wan, haunted by his failure on Korriban, volunteers to lead the mission, but Ahsoka insists on joining him, her resolve unshaken. Bail provides a small fleet, cloaked ships that can evade Imperial censors, and the Resistance prepares to face a threat greater than the Empire itself. Yoda, now fully Darth Yoda, senses the galaxy aligning against him. The dark side sharpens his perception, revealing the Resistance's movements and Sidious's schemes. He chooses his next target, Kamino, the rain-soaked world where the Empire's clone armies were born. The cloning facilities, now under Imperial control, hold secrets of genetic manipulation that Yoda believes can amplify his power. The stormy skies of Kamino churn as Yoda's ship descends, its sleek form cutting through the deluge. The Kaminoans, led by Lama Su, are unprepared for the small figure that storms their city, his crimson blade slicing through droid guards and clone troopers alike. Yoda seeks the genetic archives, a repository of knowledge that could create an army loyal to him alone. The Kaminoans resist, their sleek halls echoing with blaster fire, but Yoda's power is relentless. He bends the Force to his will, shattering transparasteel walls and hurling clones into the raging sea. Lama Su, cornered in the central chamber, pleads for mercy, but Yoda's yellow eyes offer none. The archives are his, and with them, the potential to rival Sidious's legions. The Resistance's ships arrive on Kamino just as Yoda claims the archives. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka lead a strike team, their lightsabers, blue and white, cutting through the storm. The city's platforms sway under the onslaught of wind and rain, the battle unfolding amidst lightning and crashing waves. Yoda senses their approach and turns to face them, his crimson blade a stark contrast to the gray chaos around him. The confrontation is electric, the Force surging as Obi-Wan and Ahsoka attack in unison, their blades weaving a dance of light against Yoda's darkness. Obi-Wan's strikes are measured, driven by sorrow, while Ahsoka's are fierce, fueled by betrayal. Yoda counters with terrifying ease, his small form flipping and spinning, his lightning arcing through the rain. The platform buckles under their power, metal groaning as the sea threatens to swallow them all. Yoda's voice, now a low growl, accuses them of clinging to a failed order, of lacking the strength to reshape the galaxy. Obi-Wan pleads once more, his words lost in the storm, but Ahsoka's resolve hardens. She pushes forward, her white blades clashing with Yoda's, but the fallen master's power is too great. Sidious has played his hand. With a surge of the Force, Yoda sends them sprawling, the platform collapsing beneath them. As the sea roars, Yoda escapes with the archives, leaving Obi-Wan and Ahsoka clinging to the wreckage, their hope dwindling. The stormy seas of Kamino rage as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano cling to the wreckage of the shattered platform, their lightsabers dimmed by rain and despair. Darth Yoda's escape with the genetic archives leaves a void in their hearts, his crimson blade a haunting memory against the lightning-streaked sky. The galaxy trembles under the weight of his ambition, the Force warped by his descent. On Coruscant, Darth Sidious senses the shift, his yellow eyes glinting with delight. The Emperor sees Yoda's power as a blade to sharpen his own, a challenge to crush or corrupt. The stage is set for a cataclysm, and the stars burn brighter with the promise of war. Yoda's path leads to Dantooine, a grassy world of rolling plains and ancient ruins, where the Resistance had hoped to lure him. The genetic archives from Kamino pulse with potential, and Yoda seeks a forgotten Jedi temple to conduct a dark ritual, one that will bind the clones' loyalty to him and forge an army to rival the Empire. The temple, half buried in vines, hums with residual Force energy, its stone halls scarred by time. Yoda moves swiftly, his small form weaving through shadowed corridors, the crimson glow of his lightsaber cutting through the gloom. The ritual begins, the archives interfaced with the temple's ancient holocrons, their data merging in a storm of red lightning. The Force screams, a chorus of anguish, as Yoda channels the dark side, his yellow eyes blazing. Clones across the galaxy, bound by their programming, feel a pull, their minds bending toward a new master. The ritual nears completion, but the air grows heavy with approaching danger. The Emperor, ever the puppeteer, dispatches Darth Vader and a legion of Inquisitors to Dantooine, their star destroyers blotting out the sun. Vader's black armor gleams as he descends, his red blade ignited, flanked by the Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother, their double-bladed sabers spinning. The plains erupt in chaos as Imperial forces clash with Yoda's nascent army, clones torn between their old programming and his dark will. Yoda emerges from the temple, his crimson blade a beacon of fury. The duel with Vader reignites, their sabers clashing in a whirlwind of sparks, the grass igniting around them. Yoda's small form flips and spins, his strikes precise, laced with lightning that scorches Vader's armor. The apprentice roars, his blade slashing wildly, but Yoda's power is unrelenting. The Inquisitors join the fray, their sabers weaving a deadly dance, but Yoda's Force mastery scatters them like leaves. The Grand Inquisitor falls, his body broken against a stone pillar, while the Fifth Brother flees, only to be crushed by a hurled boulder. Vader, battered, presses on, his rage a match for Yoda's darkness. But the fallen master's ritual nears its peak, the clones fully under his command. From the skies, the Resistance arrives, their cloaked ships breaking through the Imperial blockade. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka lead the charge, their lightsabers, blue and white, cutting through stormtroopers as they race toward the temple. Bail Organa coordinates from orbit, his voice steady over the comms, while Mon Mothma's strategies guide the fleet. Ahsoka's white blades flash, her movements fluid, driven by a desperate need to stop Yoda. Obi-Wan's strikes are heavy with sorrow, each step a plea for his master's soul. They reach the temple as Yoda's ritual peaks, the air crackling with dark energy. The clones, now loyal to Yoda, turn on the Imperials, their blasters tearing through Vader's forces. The plains become a battlefield, smoke rising, bodies falling, the Force a maelstrom of light and shadow. Yoda faces Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, his crimson blade humming, his small form radiating menace. The duel erupts, three sabers clashing in a blur of color, the temple's walls trembling. Yoda's lightning arcs, forcing Ahsoka back, her white blades deflecting the storm. Obi-Wan presses forward, his blue blade meeting Yoda's, their bond shattered by betrayal. The ritual's energy surges, threatening to consume the temple, and Yoda's power grows, his eyes burning with triumph. Sidious, watching from Coruscant, seizes the moment. The Emperor boards his personal shuttle, flanked by his royal guards, their red robes flowing like blood. His destination is Dantooine, his intent clear, to crush Yoda and reclaim the dark side's throne. The shuttle streaks through hyperspace, its sleek form a harbinger of doom. On Dantooine, the battle rages, the Resistance's ships weaving through laser fire, Bail's fleet holding the line. Vader, wounded but unrelenting, breaks away from Yoda to face the clones, his red blade carving through their ranks. The temple shakes, its ancient stones cracking as Yoda's ritual reaches its climax. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka fight with desperate fury, their sabers a dance of light against Yoda's darkness. Ahsoka leaps, her blades aimed at Yoda's chest, but he counters with a force push, sending her crashing into a pillar. Obi-Wan's blade grazes Yoda's arm, drawing a hiss of pain, but the fallen master retaliates, his lightning searing Obi-Wan's side. The ritual's energy explodes, a red wave rippling across the plains, binding the clones irrevocably to Yoda. The temple begins to collapse, its roof caving in, dust and debris choking the air. Sidious's shuttle emerges from hyperspace, descending through Dantooine's atmosphere. The Emperor steps onto the battlefield, his black robes billowing, his crimson saber igniting with a hiss. The Force bends around him, a vortex of malice. Yoda senses his arrival, his yellow eyes narrowing. The ritual complete, he abandons the temple, leaping into the fray, his crimson blade a streak of fire. The ultimate duel begins. Yoda and Sidious clashing in a storm of light and shadow, their sabers blurring, lightning crackling. The plains burn, grass reduced to ash, the air electric with their power. Sidious's strikes are vicious, his laughter echoing, but Yoda's dark mastery matches him, his small form dodging and weaving, his blade parrying with lethal precision. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, battered but resolute, join the fight, their sabers weaving a desperate counterpoint. Vader, torn between masters, hesitates, his red blade lowered, the Anakin within him stirring. The clones, under Yoda's command, turn on the Imperials, blasters roaring, bodies piling in the scorched earth. Bail's fleet falters, ships falling under Imperial fire, but Mon Mothma's voice rallies them, urging one final push. The duel reaches its zenith, Yoda and Sidious locked in a deadly dance, their force powers shattering the ruins around them. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka strike from the flanks, their blades grazing Sidious, drawing blood. Yoda's lightning surges, catching Sidious off guard, his robes smoldering. The Emperor retaliates, hurling a pillar at Yoda, but the fallen master deflects it, crushing a squad of stormtroopers. The battlefield is chaos, smoke and fire rising, the Force a howling storm. Vader, his armor sparking, makes his choice. His red blade swings, not at Yoda, but at Sidious, the blow grazing the Emperor's side. Sidious roars, his lightning engulfing Vader, sending him sprawling. Yoda seizes the moment, his crimson blade slashing, but Sidious counters, their sabers locking, sparks flying. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka press forward, their blades a blur, but Yoda's power surges, a dark wave knocking them back. The temple collapses fully, its stones tumbling, the ritual's energy dissipating in a final burst. Sidious, wounded but cunning, retreats, his shuttle rising through the smoke, leaving Yoda standing amidst the wreckage, his army secured, his power unmatched. The scorched plains of Dantooine smolder under a twilight sky, the ruins of the Jedi Temple a jagged scar against the horizon. Darth Yoda stands amidst the wreckage, his crimson lightsaber casting a bloody glow across the ash-strewn grass. The clones, bound to his will, form ranks behind him, their blasters silent but ready. Darth Sidious's shuttle vanishes into the stars, the Emperor wounded but alive, his laughter a lingering echo in the Force. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano rise from the rubble, their bodies bruised, their lightsabers flickering. Darth Vader lies motionless, his armor sparking, the Anakin within him silenced by betrayal. The Resistance fleet, battered but unbroken, hovers above, Bail Organa's voice urging retreat. The galaxy holds its breath, poised on the edge of a new darkness, as Yoda's yellow eyes survey his victory. But triumph feels hollow, the weight of his choices a chain around his soul. Yoda's army of clones, forged in Kamino's archives, spreads across the outer rim, seizing worlds with chilling efficiency. Ryloth's deserts, Felucia's jungles, and Megiddo's icy spires fall under his banner, their people cowed by the sight of a small figure wielding unimaginable power. The Empire, weakened by Sidious's retreat, scrambles to respond, but Yoda's forces strike like lightning, their loyalty absolute. On Coruscant, Sidious licks his wounds, his throne room a fortress of shadows. The Emperor knows Yoda's power now rivals his own, and he begins a desperate gambit, unleashing experimental weapons, dark troopers, prototype starships, to counter the fallen master. The galaxy fractures, caught between two Sith, their ambitions tearing worlds apart. Yet Yoda's heart, buried beneath layers of rage, stirs with doubt. Visions haunt him, the Jedi Temple in flames, his own hands stained with blood, the faces of younglings pleading for mercy. The dark side feeds his strength, but it cannot silence the whisper of the light, faint but persistent. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, retreating to Alderaan, regroup with the Resistance. Bail Organa's palace, once a haven, now hums with urgency, its halls filled with senators, soldiers, and exiled Jedi. Mon Mothma charts strategies, her calm voice a beacon in the chaos, while Garm Bel Iblis readies guerrilla strikes against Yoda's forces. Ahsoka, her white lightsabers sheathed, wrestles with grief, the memory of Yoda's kindness clashing with his monstrous transformation. Obi-Wan, his beard streaked with gray, sits alone by a window, the stars reflecting his sorrow. The Force carries Yoda's darkness, a wound that deepens with each victory, but Obi-Wan clings to hope, believing his master can still be saved. Ahsoka, less certain, argues for a final stand, proposing a trap on Dagobah, Yoda's sanctuary, where the swamp's isolation could level the battlefield. Bail agrees, diverting resources to the mission, while Breha protects Leia, her tiny form a reminder of what they fight for. The Resistance prepares, knowing the cost of failure is the galaxy's soul. Yoda returns to Dagobah, the swamp's mists curling around him like a shroud. The gnarled trees, once a refuge, now mirror his twisted spirit, their roots sinking into murky depths. He seeks clarity, the dark side's hunger gnawing at his resolve. The Sith artifact, still clutched in his hand, pulses with promises of ultimate power, but its visions grow darker, showing a galaxy in chains, ruled by his own hand. Yoda kneels, his crimson blade extinguished, and meditates, the Force swirling in a tempest of light and shadow. The light, though faint, speaks of redemption, of the Jedi he once was, of the love he bore for his students. The dark side counters, fueling his rage, reminding him of Sidious's betrayal, of Anakin's fall, of the Order's collapse. The struggle within him shakes the swamp, trees trembling, creatures fleeing. Yoda's eyes flicker, yellow fading to green, then back again, his soul a battleground. The Resistance arrives on Dagobah, their ships cloaked, slipping through the swamp's fog. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka lead a small team, their lightsabers igniting as they navigate the treacherous terrain. The swamp pulses with Yoda's presence, its darkness oppressive. But they press forward, guided by the Force. Mon Mothma's fleet remains in orbit, ready to strike if needed, while Bail coordinates from Alderaan, his heart heavy with the mission's weight. Deep in the swamp, Yoda senses their approach, his meditation broken. The crimson blade reignites, its glow cutting through the mist. The final confrontation begins as Obi-Wan and Ahsoka step into a clearing, their lightsabers, blue and white, clashing with Yoda's red. The duel is fierce, the swamp erupting in chaos, mud and water splashing, vines snapping under the Force's fury. Yoda's small form leaps and spins, his strikes relentless, lightning arcing from his claws. Obi-Wan counters with measured precision, his sorrow lending strength, while Ahsoka's blades weave a desperate dance, her anger tempered by resolve. The clearing burns, trees collapsing, the air electric with their power. Sidious, ever watchful, seizes the opportunity. His shuttle descends through Dagobah's atmosphere, flanked by dark troopers, their metal forms gleaming in the fog. The Emperor steps into the swamp, his crimson saber igniting, his presence a void in the Force. Yoda senses him, breaking away from Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, his yellow eyes fixed on his true enemy. The ultimate duel erupts, Yoda and Sidious clashing in a storm of red blades, lightning crackling, the swamp trembling. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka join the fray, their sabers weaving through the chaos, targeting Sidious. The dark troopers advance, blasters roaring, but the Resistance strikes from above, Mon Mothma's ships raining fire. Yoda's clones, still loyal, clash with the troopers, the swamp a battlefield of light, shadow, and blood. Sidious's laughter cuts through the chaos, his blade slashing, but Yoda's power matches him, their Force abilities shattering the landscape. Obi-Wan's blue blade grazes Sidious, drawing a snarl, while Ahsoka's white blades deflect his lightning, her resolve unbreakable. The battle's climax comes swiftly. Yoda, caught between rage and redemption, hesitates, his eyes flickering green. Sidious seizes the moment, hurling lightning, but Obi-Wan leaps, taking the blast, his body convulsing. Ahsoka screams, her blades slashing, wounding Sidious's arm. Yoda, stirred by Obi-Wan's sacrifice, turns on Sidious, his crimson blade striking true, piercing the Emperor's chest. Sidious collapses, his laughter silenced, the dark side's grip loosening. But Yoda's victory is Pyrrhic. The swamp falls silent, the clones faltering, their programming unraveling without the ritual's power. Obi-Wan, barely alive, reaches for Yoda, his voice a whisper, pleading for his master to return. Yoda's eyes, now green, fill with tears, the Sith artifact falling from his hand. The light surges, weak but present, and Yoda kneels, his small form trembling. He cannot undo his sins, but he can end the cycle. With a final act, Yoda channels the Force, dispersing the dark energy, freeing the clones, and collapsing into the mud, his life fading. The swamp grows still, the mist curling around Obi-Wan and Ahsoka as they cradle Yoda's body. The Resistance lands, Bail and Mon Mothma joining them, their faces heavy with loss. Obi-Wan, wounded but alive, vows to honor Yoda's final act, to rebuild the Jedi with balance, not dogma. Ahsoka, her white blades sheathed, looks to the stars, her path unclear, but her spirit unbroken. On Alderaan, Breha holds Leia, whispering tales of hope, while Luke, on Tatooine, sleeps under the care of Beru and Owen, unaware of his destiny. The galaxy, scarred by Yoda's fall and Sidious's tyranny, begins to heal. The Empire fractures, its leaders scrambling, while the Resistance grows, fueled by Bail's leadership and Mon Mothma's vision. The Jedi, though few, emerge as guardians, their temples rebuilt on worlds like Ossus and Tython. The Force flows freely, its balance fragile but enduring, a testament to Yoda's sacrifice. Years pass, and the galaxy finds peace, though its scars remain. Obi-Wan, now a mentor to young Jedi, trains Luke and Leia, their potential a light in the darkness. Ahsoka wanders the outer rim, aiding those forgotten by war, her white blades a symbol of redemption. Bail Organa, elected Chancellor, works with Padme Amidala, who survived in secret, to reform the Republic, their laws rooted in justice. The clones, freed from control, settle as citizens, their armor retired, their lives their own. On Dagobah, a small shrine marks Yoda's resting place, its stone etched with his name, not as a Sith, but as a Jedi who fell and rose again. The swamp blooms with new life, its mists softer, its creatures at peace. The galaxy endures, its people rebuilding, its stars shining brighter without the shadow of Sith. Yoda's legacy, once a warning, becomes a lesson. Even the wisest can fall, but redemption is never beyond reach. And folks, that's our story. This one was a gut punch to write, diving into Yoda's descent and the cost of his choices. I drew inspiration from The Last Jedi's themes of failure and redemption, wanting to explore how even the greatest can stumble. Hope you felt the weight of it as much as I did. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next tale.